those two will be out. So it's just the two of you, but welcome to Deepnight Revelation. We're going to be picking up where we left off last week. We're down 2 players, but we've decided to just carry on and carry on? Carry on? Anyways, where we left off, these guys have just done the first of its kind deep space, like not like deep space like you're in a solar system. No, they are they are in a parsec between parsecs, and there ain't nothing out here except for this comet labeled DSR-1, and they did a very harrowing, complicated plot to land on it, set up a field refueling station
Come on, Big Pig.
to crack ice and water, and they set up like a bucket brigade of different ships carrying back these fuel bladders to Revelation to feed this into the fuel processors, where it will be turned into, refined, decent fuel where they can carry on. But during this process, they did run into a life form, a silicon-based life form on the comet that had burst forth from this icy crystalline-like structure, and they have captured one alive, unconscious but alive, after pummeling it quite a lot and started tasing it with his stunner several times, and finally put it down. And they have captured it and brought it back with them for study to Deepnight Revelation. And they are currently in the central pods. No, I didn't. Kind of zoom in on those. And so you are in the Deck 1 central pods down in the multi-environment biosphere. They've got 2 sections of these biospheres set up where they can adjust these biospheres to whatever environment they like. They're basically much larger versions of what you would see on a safari ship, for example. But that's where we will pick up. Before we get started, we'd like to thank a friend of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They are just products that we really like. And tonight we'd like to bring attention to a recreation of a toy from many of our youth. And of course, when I say our youth, I mean older Gen Xers. When we were kids, there was a sci-fi show on TV called Space 1999, and part of it was extremely popular. And part of it was, of course, toys and tie-ins. And one of the toys Mattel had come out with in 1976 was the Space 1999 Eagle Transporter, and it was a fabulous toy. To this day, still, I mean, I don't know why, but I rate that higher than like the Star Wars Millennium Falcon toy. The Eagle Transporter was my favorite toy, hands down. And it came with 3 action figures and a whole bunch of quickly losable accessories. But Zika, Giant Leap and Zika Toys have joined up and have a Kickstarter out right now. They are doing a modern take on the Mattel Transporter. It is bigger. So the Mattel Transporter was like 2.8 feet long. This one is almost 4 feet. So it's quite a bit larger. It comes with 2 astronaut figures. And the astronaut figures, of course, are a little bit bigger. And they are more of the... they have more articulation and are the gasket type of... where the central waist can rotate type of figure. And there are 3 different types that you can order. There is the screen accurate version, which is personally my favorite. The original Mattel version, which has a black tinted canopy, cockpit door, and then red thruster module on the back. And then I've got another one. I never understood these. The Dinky Toy versions. Dinky Toys made a die-cast metal one that was like in this really weird bright lime green, and I'm like, there was no such eagle. I don't know why these exist, but anyways, they have that one available too. And so you just pick whichever one. They've got some additional Kickstarter backer bonuses, like there's additional astronauts that can be added to it, and a number of other things. If you are interested in collectibles, I highly recommend checking them out. I will have a link to the Kickstarter down below, and go get yourself an Eagle Transporter. And I will say that for a collectible item like this, I am going to say that it is fairly reasonably priced, especially for the Kickstarter. So if you get it on the Kickstarter, you are getting a deeper discount than you will after it enters into your production model. I think production model is going to go for $3.99, but on Kickstarter they have them as low as $3.29. I want to say $3.39, somewhere around there. So definitely check them out. We also have merch store via Zazzle. We've got a number of items: t-shirts, hoodies, whiskey rocks glass, beer stein, bunch of things. And 100% of the proceeds from that store goes back into our channel, helps us cover costs of things like Incarnate Pro or Roll20 Pro or Wondershare, which we use to make the videos. And so if you want to help us out, you can go on over to our merch store on Zazzle and get yourself a t-shirt and a whiskey rocks glass, and we appreciate everything you do for us. All right, so you know what? Give me 1 second. We'll be right back.
I don't know how much of a good idea it was to bring the unknown alien life form on our ship. We sure as fuck did it.
Well, I mean, we haven't really been playing it safe throughout this entire campaign, so why start now?
Oh, I hear you. And they said, we'll bring it aboard. And I was like, all right, we'll bring it aboard.
I had to turn on the air conditioner. It's cold here, but not as cold as it should be for October. And it's still it's still warm enough that when I put on my headphones, I'm like, my ears are getting hot. So anyways. So you guys have Pappy loaded you guys up, and you guys have basically set up, you've trailblazed and set up this refueling bucket brigade, which is still going on. Because I mean, I forget it. What 5,400 tons of fuel, I think, is what we figured. Anyways, it's a lot of fuel, and so there are still ships going back and forth. But you guys have headed back, having pretty much done your job, and have brought this life form with you back, and it is now it's still unconscious. It is in the multi-environment biosphere on deck 1 of the Central Science Pod, and the the captain, Captain Belmont, and the first officer, the XO, are both wanting to know, why would you bring this dangerous life form aboard? In addition to this, they report that there was an incident with one of the other landing teams. One of a crewman was injured from one of these things. It not fatally. They put it down before it could kill him, but it did. He's not only did one of these claws get through his vac suit, but in addition to a claw wound, he also suffered from some exposure, freezing temperatures, as well as a bit of decompression. And so he is in the med bays recovering. He's not dead. He's just a little fucked up, that's all. He'll be okay.
Well, I mean, it's his leg that got fucked up,
yes.
You said?
Yes.
Perhaps we should just replace it.
It's not that badly. I mean, he's not gimpy or anything. Just the claw went through the suit and into his leg.
Well, I mean,
I'm shocked at that, and then my expression would be like, "Oh yeah, yeah," and I'd be like, "So what do you think, new leg?"
yeah. Well, I mean,
give him some spinners in the knees, some chrome.
Well, I mean, we could give him a really nice new set of legs. It would improve his speed.
He wants to replace both of them. But Doctor, my left leg's fine. Nah, fuck it, we're taking off.
We're taking both, but I'm just saying. I mean, it's an excellent opportunity to replace a couple of his limbs. We
can build them faster, better, stronger, but we don't want to spend too much. So yeah, I mean, you get this thing in here. It's unconscious. The med teams have this guy in the med bay. Meanwhile, the captain and the XO are standing there in person. They didn't even radio this down there. Why did you bring this dangerous organism aboard? I mean, why did you bring him back? I mean, they're not stupid. They get it that the science teams wanted to have a closer look at this thing, but the XO especially is like inventing new curse words. Like, this doesn't seem like a good idea.
Well,
we were both reasonably certain we could keep it unconscious for as long as the scientists want to poke, prod, and
that actually is a really good point.
It's important to the mental health of the science teams and those investigators that they have fresh new things to poke and prod, and this seemed like something really neat. And it being silicone based, maybe we could augment it in such a way that it would be immune to the fungus, but still,
right.
Also, we weren't sure if Dr. Bocephus would be able to get enough samples in a short period of time.
Right.
Really.
That's true.
It's really important that we take these genetic opportunities. I mean, we've got people losing limbs, and then here we have these silicone-based creatures. I mean, God, if we could transplant the creature's legs onto the guy.
Now you're wanting to do cross species.
Oh, yes.
Oh, shit.
That would be something that the science guys would enjoy, and the coworkers,
So these things. Actually, I have to look at it, but I mean, I didn't make it. I copied it over, but.
They say the best DMing skill there is plagiarism. If you've got like 2 or 3 in plagiarism, oh yeah, then you're the shit.
So I remember. So this was a creature from Alternity, Star Drive. It was in the first Alien Compendium of Star Drive, and I remember the first time that I unleashed this on my players, and they they did not like this at all. I told my buddy Jeff, who played in that campaign. It was a 5-year-long campaign, and he I told him that I brought this over and unleashed it, and he goes, "Ew." Yes, ew is correct, sir. So yeah, you explained that you were thinking that this thing that this could. No, go ahead.
Yeah, we keep letting all the space scientists go on these fun trips. We haven't been giving the biologists enough work to do.
Right.
And if people get bored, we can just let it go on certain decks of the ship.
Yes. We can deputize it.
Yeah. And then hide all the weapons and just play like, I mean, we could film it, and take bets on who lives the longest?
The security
Maybe?
drills have just gotten a lot more exciting.
Hell yes.
So two of the I can't really call them commanders because they're from the science division. They don't have any real they don't have rank over there. If you've ever been around a bunch of scientists, it's whoever comes up with the most good ideas is like the leader for that week. Anyways, these two, Lucian Sund and Patricia Mercuse, are there with you, observing this thing, and are talking with Captain Belmont and the XO, and both of you can make a recon plus social check.
Nine.
Nice. Yeah, well, you both got it. So you both know who these two professors are. Dr. Lucian Sund, and I mean, I'm not going to tell you if you like him or dislike him, but he's one of those people that is really, really passionate about exercise, especially running, and he essentially every morning starts out his day by jogging through the corridors of the ship. He's one of those. And Patricia Mercuse, you have, especially, I would think, Dr. Bocephus, has had a number of scientific run-ins with Dr. Mercuse. She is a well-known perfectionist, especially about grammar in scientific papers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Neither one of these people are the kind of person that you're likely to really like to be around, right? So, yes, these are the two doctors, but they, in this case, both of them agree with Sarda and back up your statement that, you know, it's in the multi-environment space now. It should not be difficult to get it to stay unconscious or really stay in some kind of static state. And these two are the ones that are essentially going to be spending the bulk of their time researching this thing. This is now their baby.
I want them to determine if the awakening ability of the creature, they were in a dormant state, and then we showed up, and somehow they sensed that we were there.
Right.
Did they sense us because we were a life form or because of our heat? What exactly triggered them into waking up? And if it does some kind of awareness sense that they have, would they awaken if they became in contact with the fungus?
That's a very good point. In fact,
I mean, I don't want these two people that I don't like to think that they can just go research willy-nilly however the fuck they choose. They need to go in a direction that is predetermined for them.
Right.
Yeah. Or they get new arms.
Robot heads.
You know, in honor of Fallout 76, you know, just having this little October bit that lines up with the storyline of the game, and you know, you can make the robots where you put different heads on.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, we could do that with crewmates.
Yeah, I mean, you know, why not?
Oh, the papers I could write by switching these two doctors' heads. Yeah.
or the monks from Star Wars on Tatooine that roamed around Jabba the Hutt's palace. They had given up the mortal life long ago and just had their heads or had their brains and nervous system transplanted into those spider droids into a tank beneath it, and it just roams around all over the place. I don't know what they do, but I guess not much. I guess they contemplate stuff at that point. But anyways, so these two they are gonna make their convincing. Or are they going to? There we go. So you both, you can both make a persuasion plus soc check.
8.
Okay.
13.
Wow! Look at the big social on Stardust. So
I got lucky.
So between the both of you and these two doctors, you're able to kind of allay the fears of the captain and the XO. And the captain basically says he basically takes your guys' word for it, and he says, "Well, carry on. Just keep an eye on this thing." He says, "We've already had one injury. I certainly don't want more, and these things seem a little vicious." And he turns and he leaves to head back to the bridge. The XO, before he leaves, he kind of looks at the thing again through the Durasteel glass, and then kind of looks at you guys again, and he says, "I really hope you're right about this. We don't need these goddamn things running around the ship causing mayhem." And he kind of turns and leaves. Kind of huffs off to the bridge. And these two, Dr. Lucian and or Dr. I already forgot their names. Dr. Sund and Dr. Mercuse begin studying this thing. They've got, of course, because this is a multi-environment laboratory, there are all sorts of microscopes and cameras and things that are set up in there so that they can get samples and they can get close and they can scan it and do all sorts of stuff. This is a fairly elaborate lab.
Do you remember when you were a kid and you got the firecrackers, and you'd pop one of them at a time, and then, almost always, you put two of them together, and the next thing you know, you've got like 4 or 5. Can we make a cluster of stun grenades under that same kind of premise and just keep it all in this area? If the thing gets hit, if it starts getting out, somebody hits this button, and then everybody in the room is subjected to like 4 stun grenades at once.
Well, I mean, you don't even need to do the stun grenades. I mean, like I said, this is a multi-environment biosphere. So essentially, if you wanted to turn the inside into a fucking Tesla globe, you theoretically could do that.
Okay. Well,
or you could turn it into an Arctic environment or a vacuum.
Right.
I mean,
well,
whatever is needed.
We know that the stun weapon works against this creature.
It does.
And so we need to be prepared to hit it with a stun quickly. Even and considering we're using a stun thing, there's not a big danger of collateral damage.
Measures brain waves, and then you can experiment with anesthesia and stun gun, different combinations until you get the anesthesia right.
Yeah.
So Dr. Patricia Mercuse immediately looks over your logs, and she looks over the data that is immediately available coming in from the myriad of science sensors in this biosphere. And she says, "Well, you had stated in your logs that this thing had thick armored plates on it. I mean, not thick armored plates, but it had some. I'm according to the readings that I'm getting from these sensors, it seems that the chitinous plating on this creature is much denser than what you had recorded.
Then it's adapting, and you need to adapt with it faster.
That's your fault. You fix it. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't. I mean, she doesn't know what to say to that. The environment in the biosphere right now is set to essentially the surface temperature and humidity of the comet where you found it. You know, the thinking in that is that that's where you found it, so that must be its natural environment, right?
Well, I mean, look, compare it with the scan data that we had of the thing before, and if it's changed, you need to record that. I'm just surprised that you didn't think of this, though. I thought you guys were smart. Sorry. My bad for assuming that. If you scan something twice and it's not the same result, then either you suck at scanning or it's changed. Those are your options. We already don't like them. I'm purposely fucking up the grammar.
Just to piss her off, right?
Yeah. Like I'm putting the wrong kind of 2 down every time, TWO.
So, yeah, between the time it took you to load this thing up into the cargo hold of the Destinex, get it back here, get it into the biosphere, about 7 hours has gone by. Both of you can make a recon plus intellect.
Not me.
9.
So, Dr. Bocephus, looking through the observation glass, you can see, you can kind of visually see that there's a difference. This thing has grown. When you found it, when it came out of the burst out of the crystals, you had noted that on initial rupture from these crystals, it was about 1.3 meters in size. In the 7 hours, it has grown to 2 meters in size.
The smart thing to do right here is to kick the thing off the ship. But, we might not take that option.
It'd be interesting to know how and why it's growing at that rate. It's adapted at that rate, right?
Yeah, I mean, both doctors say that they're just going to have to observe it more, and they're just going to have to observe it more, run some tests.
Is it a change at a DNA level, or is it
It's just growing.
Oh, okay.
They believe the initial. So, Doctor.
Be a new way. I mean, that's a crystal. That's how crystals.
Yeah, Dr. Soon says that he believes that this is just a natural progression, that basically bursting forth from the crystals, it's, that would be its birthing process, or perhaps a second birthing process. They're not sure if it was partially grown before it went into the crystals or what. But they believe that this is a natural progression of its growth.
Since we think this thing is related to crystals, you might want to experiment with different sonic frequencies, see if something can actually if there's certain sonic frequencies that might cause difficulties for the creature.
Yep.
Okay.
If you cut a piece of it off, does it still grow?
That's a good question. These are all things that these doctors will do. Although Dr. Soond, the guy who likes to exercise, is a little disturbed by the idea of harming the only example of this organism that they have, and he feels that seems a bit cruel to dismember it in the name of science. Since we don't even know how many of these things there are. I mean, this could be the last of their kind.
You know, it's okay to eat fish. You know why? They don't have any feelings.
Probably not, but
so we're going to apply that same thing here. This is okay because it's on our ship. We need to learn about it. It's got to have something to do with our mission, and therefore, we need to find out all about it, because if it is something that is not going to be affected by the fungus, and it might eat the fungus, and if that's the case, we could put it on a fungus infested area and it turn into a crystalline area and not be as hazardous. I mean, this could really be a great thing.
So, Dr. Mercuse, the perfectionist, she says, the only way that we're going to, be able to test that is we're going to have to take some of our test samples of the fungus and purposely infect it.
That's right.
She says, are you going to sign off on that? She says, I'm not comfortable approving that kind of scientific experiment.
We don't have that fungus to begin with, do we?
You do have some samples of the fungus.
I think if we're going to do it, it has to be done on this asteroid.
We can do that.
Right? That way we can
set up a portable dome-based type lab.
It's got to be done in such a way that we can eject. We can kill the test subject without it. Yeah, I don't want it to happen on the ship, is my thinking. And at the same time, I don't want it to contaminate a large world. And so I'm trying to figure out where we'd be able to do this.
Well, I mean, so...
But we can do it on this asteroid and then just nuke it afterwards.
So, a couple things. So, this comet, I mean...
Comet, yeah.
This comet moves at relatively slow subliminal speeds, right? So, assuming it's in a astronomical sense, in the amount of time that it will take you, the another 5 or 6 years to get to terminus point, and then 5 or 6 years when you come back. Theoretically speaking, this comet will have moved very small amount of distance. And so the idea is, I mean, do you really want, Dr. Lucian says, do you really want to take the possibility of having to destroy this comet, since this may be our only refueling source coming back?
Oh, that's a good point.
That is a smart idea. But
he says, if we want to go through with this kind of experiment, we can set up this biosphere can generate any environment. We could literally incinerate anything that's in there.
Well, that sounds good.
Or flood the environment with UV light, or it is literally multi-environment biosphere. So I mean, if we want to incinerate everything and then flood it with UV light for a week, the fungus wouldn't survive in there. If that's the route you want to go. But Dr. Patricia's like, well, I mean, be that as it may, I don't. If you are commanders of the mission division, if you want to sign off on this, of course we'll go ahead and go through with those experiments. But she says, I personally am not comfortable doing that.
Really though, it's probably best to get as much information to learn about the creature before we start adding variables. But I mean, I don't know if we do this immediately or not. The first thing I want to know is, are they able to stop the fucking thing from growing? I mean, we don't have unlimited space.
Right, and Dr. Lucian brings up, he says, we're going to have to monitor it at least for the next 48 to 72 hours. We don't know anything about it. I mean, we don't know, how big is it going to grow? Is it like, a Soleimani alligator that will grow to the size of its environment? Or is it, or is this as big as it's going to get? And, what is its breeding routine? How do these things mate? What does it eat? There's a whole manner of things that we don't know yet. We're going to have to study it for at least 72 hours, just watching it and scanning it and seeing what's going on with it.
Sounds cool.
So about that time, you hear.
Make sure give stunners to everybody working near it in the meantime.
Oh yeah. Everybody operating in this lab is going to be armed, both with a stunner and Dr. Patricia wants to arm them with, because they're scientists, because they're fucking nerds. She
fun game, just run around and start zapping people.
Right, yes. She in addition to stunners, she wants all of the staff working to be armed with the Install Arms 635 revolver. The reason for the revolver is that it's really designed for people that have next to no firearm training, which these dorks qualify. And an 8.9 millimeter round, they can arm them with heap rounds. This will do sufficient damage to, she thinks, to put this thing down if it gets serious. That's her thinking, according to your log notes on the entire situation. She would feel better if, beyond stunners, that they had, the 635s.
I don't have a problem with that.
Or at the very least, and she also, in addition to that, she would like 2 security personnel stationed outside with, a little bit heavier firepower, probably shotguns. She's just trying to cover all her bases.
Yeah, all that sounds reasonable to me, really.
So, at about that time, Dr. Bocephus, your wristwatch, your mobile comm beeps, internal ship frequency, requesting your presence in the med bays.
I guess I'll go to the med bay.
Yeah, let's go to the med bay.
Yeah.
Okay.
See what's going on.
So you're both heading over to med bays?
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to have to put a new leg on this person.
So, in the hospitals on the port side, your med bay is on the starboard side. You both kind of come in. This is obviously Dr. Bocephus's home environment. And you can see that this guy is sedated and is strapped down to the gurney, and the physician that has been looking over. I mean, this guy's a doctor, but he's little more than essentially an EMT because the wound, when brought in, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Essentially, you're talking about this guy lost like 3/4 of his endurance in this wound. Okay, didn't even lose all of his endurance. He wasn't unconscious from the wound. He he was unconscious after the explosive well, it wasn't explosive decompression, but there was decompression from his suit. He was smart enough. He got after he got disentangled from the claw, they slapped a patch on his suit, so that wasn't really that big of a deal, and he had a little bit of frostbite around the wound. Just from the vacuum and cold environment. But now that they've treated the frostbite, which of course involved some surgery, removal of tissue and whatnot, but he is looking at this wound in the guy's leg, and he's like, "This is." I want you to take a look at this. I haven't seen something like this.
I'm gonna take a look.
Okay, go ahead and roll a. Oh shit! That was the wrong thing. I didn't want to do that. Me clicking on wrong buttons again. There we go. And I do this at least once a week. I didn't open my referee screen. There we go. And make a medic plus intellect or education check.
10. I can add some to the
you can.
med bay.
So med bay is going to give you a +2.
That's 12.
Yeah, so you definitely see something weird. Like, so where this. Even around where they cut out the surface tissue that was frostbitten, you are seeing blistering in multiple places, but only in the wound. And it's not just blistering on the surface tissue of the skin. You're seeing blisters on the muscle tissue and all the way down to the bone.
That's not good.
I really do think now at this time that we need to take the leg off. I'm not joking. Take this leg off and
sorry, dude, fuck your leg.
and clone him a new one and put on the new leg. I mean, and let's keep this leg alive, but off of him, and study the results of what the fuck is going on here.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? It allows
you're wanting to
clone.
You're wanting to do a bio augment clone of the leg.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean that bio whatever fucking chamber.
Yeah, you
is geared for this.
Yeah,
shit.
Essentially, you could clone a leg, and that is a part of augmentation. Not all augmentation not all augmentation assumes that it's going to be it's not mechanical or electric in every case. It's a lot of it's bio.
But I mean, right? This is a strange and unknown wound. It's festering in a strange and unknown way. And while we have this new creature in our midst, we need to find out exactly what it, what is its wound? What kind of wound does it really cause? So I mean, this way we save the crew member the agony of having to deal with this shit. And we can still kind of keep the leg alive. It's just not connected to the guy anymore.
Okay.
And see what it does. You see where I'm getting?
Yeah. So you are essentially you're going to have to. So, are you going to clone the leg first, or are you going to amputate and then clone the leg?
I don't understand why we can't do both at the same time. The leg needs to come off now.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the first thing we need to do is separate this fucking terrible wound from the body and hope that it's where that stops. I mean,
Okay. Hold on here.
right? I mean,
No, I gotcha.
I'm just hoping it's not too late and you know we separated the wound from the body, but I mean the blisters and shit, that's a sign of being at the least an allergic reaction, but it could also be some kind of burn.
I'm
Certain
just
STDs will give you blisters.
sorry. You got the alien herpes in your
Yeah,
leg.
well, we need to ask him if he's been having sex with the crystal beast. Wake him up.
Well, you said the only good way to get a brain scan is go through the rectum.
Yeah.
So
That's the way you fight epileptic seizures. Is you got to go under their tongue, but it's nasty just to go into somebody's mouth. You got to go in the back way.
So you're prepping for surgery. What are you? So this is going to take several hours. Sort of, what are you doing in the several hours?
I'll just hover around the area where the alien is to make sure everything's going okay.
Okay.
But I feel pretty safe with Bocephus covering this guy's wound, and
Okay.
I know he won't hesitate to space the guy if necessary.
Right. Yes.
And so,
Oh no! I'll kill this motherfucker quick.
and so I'm gonna go watch the alien.
Okay. Give me just a second.
We're playing zone defense here, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
Man, there's so many cool things I could do with just giving him a couple new legs, though.
I'm really just laughing because I think back a couple of years ago when we first started playing, and if the if the idea had come up that the doctor would space this guy. I remember back then Sarda was a lot more thick-skinned about these things. He'd be like, "No, we're not spacing anybody." You've taken quite a more liberal jaunt in that direction of how to get rid of problems.
The look on his face when I offed that guy. I go down like I'm going to give help, and then I killed that bitch.
Yes, the look on
And the
Will's
look on his
face was
face-
fantastic.
Yeah, he was like, "Whoa, whoa."
You're muted.
Honestly, it solved a lot of problems.
Yes, that's true. Yes, yeah, yes. If you're having a problem with the trailer park, the obvious solution is just to remove the trailer park. I mean, just get rid of it. So, Bocephus, make a medic plus intellect or education check. You are performing surgery.
Oh well, I get
Okay.
another +2 though due to the med bay.
That's true. So
that'll be
13.
a 13. Yeah.
So yeah, you put this guy under the laser scalpel, which is going to take you about 3 hours to neatly do this and maintain an adequate amount of blood loss.
No problem.
We will come back to you. So,
Okay.
Sarda, you kind of go back, and over the next 3 hours, you kind of hang out. There is a small team that are monitoring that Dr. Sund and Dr. Mercuse have brought in to monitor this thing. They have found a couple of interesting things. So, in the course of this 3 hours, it seems that it has grown to approximately 2 meters in size and stopped. The vacuum and cold, wintry conditions that they have put inside the biosphere doesn't seem to really affect this thing at all. It has woken up. It is moving around the biosphere. It is. Well, go ahead and make a recon plus intellect check. You can make your own. You can make your own decision about what you feel about this, what you're seeing.
Not high.
So,
I'm basically just bullshit with the guard.
yeah, the the guards are like, I don't like this thing. Like there are these two security guards. One of them is afraid of spiders, and this thing, they're like, yeah, this thing looks like it looks like a spider if a spider had grown out of somebody's pelvis and then grew to 2 meters in size. He's like, nah, I don't fucking like this thing at all. The scientists in this 3 hours, so they have determined that it seems like it has stopped growing. It has reached about 2 meters in size. They have not been able. They've fed it some food. They're not using any of the food sources that you guys have live caught on planets, because they're saving that for the crew. They don't want to waste that. So they are using things like 3D printed meat and things of that nature. And it's eating them. It doesn't. It ate them at first, and now is like kind of like a cat when it doesn't like a particular type of food, it covers it up like it's poop. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like, this isn't really what it wants. They have also discovered that it exudes a molecular glue. Like it is a biogenic molecular resin that it exudes, and it has started to build what looks like a cocoon of some kind in this biosphere. So that's essentially what you have learned so far.
Okay.
They have determined that oh, never mind. So what they have determined, and they've extrapolated this data, watching it grow, and from your logs, that when it bursts forth from this this crystalline spore, they've determined that it seems like the creature at that stage is probably in a half-grown state, and that it seems to grow rapidly upon emergence, and it will grow to the 1.5 meter size. So when it's inside this thing, it's kind of curled up and in a softened state of maybe 1 meter in size, but it'll grow to that 1.5 to 1.8 meter size in about 1D rounds. So upwards of 1 minute, it can grow to this 1.5 meter size. And get the semi-rigid state. What they have determined is that in its full size, so when you guys fought these out right after they emerged from the crystals, in their 1.5 meter size, they had 42 hit points, or 42 hits. Fully grown at 2 meters, they have 84 hits. They still move at 10 meters per minor action, but their protection has gone up to +8 armor. And their claws have AP8 and their bite has AP10. So
Okay. All right.
So they're learning more. They still don't know anything about its life cycle or breeding structure or anything about that. Dr. Bocephus,
Yeah.
you have a leg. Make a Recon plus intellect check. Or really, you can make a medic plus intellect check.
10.
Okay. So you have cut this leg off in the time that it has taken you 3 hours for you to perform surgery. This guy's, if he were to wake up right now, he would want to scratch his right knee, even though his right knee isn't there. You did excellent surgery. In the time that it took you to cut the leg off, you've seen that these blisters have, the blisterous rash in this wound has expanded to the point where some of the blister packs have grown and formed together to make a larger blister in the musculature. And most of this blistering is taking place in the internal structure of the leg. It's not really happening on the skin. The bulk of it is happening in the meat of the leg.
Like
And it continues to happen even after you have dissected the leg or amputated the leg off the body.
This leg needs to be quarantined and studied. It needs to make sure that this shit does not go past the leg.
Okay.
So I'm going to send it down to the doctors who are investigating the creature so they can see firsthand the damage that the creature does to you.
Okay.
Like a good safety video. Like, if this motherfucker gets you, man, this is what happens.
Okay.
You know?
So how are you wanting to quarantine? So are you just having them take the leg and throw it into the biosphere, or what? What are you doing?
I think it needs to go down into its own little contained biosphere and just kind of throw it in the corner and see what happens. I guess.
Okay.
We've got 2 of them. One of them can be at a normal, let's take it in the one that Sarda and them's not in, and just kind of
watch it.
Set the leg on a table in there, and
so this is one of the problems with that you run into with deck plans on ships that are super huge. Figure it out. Each one of these squares is 12 meters.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's a long way to drag somebody.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, we could put it it needs to be in a closed container of some sort while it's being transported. I mean, like, as soon as it gets cut off, it needs to be stuck in a container.
Okay.
Hermetically sealed something, preferably clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and then
you lock the leg in this hermetically sealed case, and are you handing it to a doctor? Handing it to security personnel? What are you doing?
Well, I'm gonna tell Stippy to take it down to the bio chamber that Sarda and them are in, and they can run tests or whatever. I mean, that looks like a really big area.
No shit, these are huge. If each one of these
squares,
so it says that 1 square equals 8 tons. So if you figure like 1 square, I'm just spitballing here. one square on like a 200-ton free trader is 1.5 meters. So if you take 1.5 times 8, that means each one of these squares is 12 meters, right? I mean, that tracks. So, I mean, holy shit, that that means that these biospheres are enormous. I would imagine there's probably multiple labs in here, and
Yeah. So it needs to. Yeah. Send it down there. Stimpy will take it. You know, he'll have his little cart that the container will be put on, and he'll push the cart down the hallway.
Okay.
You
Yeah, a
know?
cart's probably a good idea. I mean, I don't know how big this guy was, but I mean, if it was one of my legs, I mean, that's probably going to be a chunk
Well,
of
I mean,
weight.
if you're looking at what, a 5-foot long container, you know, and 2 foot wide, you know, that would probably be about right for you know,
Right.
put a leg in. I mean, you know, you want plenty of room
Right.
for fluid and whatnot. So I mean, it needs to be put in a solution and sealed up and
And then the other. Hold on here. Let me
and
open this up.
and I need to know exactly what's causing these blisters and everything else. If they could get on that, that would be great. And in the meantime, I've got to work on the patient and make sure that I got all the. I'm going to categorize it as an infection, just
Okay.
for lack of better terms. But I need to make sure that he doesn't have any more of these, whatever the fuck's going on.
Okay.
I might need to take his other leg and give him 2 new ones.
So you have a cloning vat, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
I have a cloning vat and I have a biomedical reaction chamber or some shit. I can find the actual wording.
You have a.
Yeah. If we need.
Let me. I'm looking through this book here. I mean, obviously, I know what a cloning vat does, but bioreaction chamber is on page 50. Bioreactor or vat supports biologically active environment. It can be used to grow cultures or organisms or support a growing biological being, including a human fetus or developing clone. I mean, yes, but okay, cloning vat is on page 152. It says, looks like an autodoc specializes in biology, cloning, not therapeutic medical care. So I guess the biological reaction chamber is really what you're shooting for. You are essentially using this to 3D print a leg.
Correct.
Are you doing anything else to this leg? Like, are you adding any additional augmentations to this leg? I mean,
yeah,
I mean, you could amputate more. I mean, this guy could have the Midnight Cowboy add-on, and
Well, no, but I mean, a little muscular bridging, to give him, I mean, it would give him a +1 strength, +1 dex, and +3 meters to his movement. If I did both legs with the muscular bridging, so I might as well do that.
You're gonna amputate the other leg.
I'm just the other leg. I'm just gonna give.
Oh, you're just gonna add
bridging.
the augmentation to it. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, but then on the clone leg, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll augment it before I put it on him.
Okay.
So that way he'll have the total thing of +1 strength, +1 dex, and +3 meters of movement. I mean that's a good solid.
So
I'm betting on him in the new races.
So you're looking at another 3 hours to do the augmentation, another 4 hours to complete the surgery. So 7 hours total.
No problem.
Nice.
You can make another medic plus intellect or education check.
All right, I'm
Plus
gonna
two.
add plus.
+2 for
Yeah.
the med bay.
There we go. There's 14.
Nice.
Um,
So
I do want to tattoo Bocephus was here on the right thigh on the outside.
yes, yeah.
Sign my
Sign
work.
your work. Yes,
Fuck
yes.
yeah, that's everybody I operate on is getting augmented. I don't give a fuck.
yes, yes. Their left arm's replaced with a plunger, and there's a garbage can for one leg, and one eye sticks way out further than the other one. So you're in the OR, in the the OR, slaving over a hot bioreaction chamber and a surgery table for the next 7 hours. Sir, to make another recon plus intellect check.
Sure. Nine.
Okay. You. I need to pull this thing up here. You observe. So this thing has now kind of, so it has built this cocoon out of this biomolecular glue, and it seems that this glue, it's like an epoxy, right? So this is the quick and dirty version of epoxy, but if anybody knows anything, the difference between epoxy and glue is that when I say it's a molecular glue, like it literally bonds to whatever surface. So getting this shit off is nigh impossible. A diamond tip, sander is going to be required to make the surface normal again. And so it has built this thing roughly in the shape of the crystals that you saw. And the top is kind of open, right? And in this 7 hours, you have witnessed this thing kind of build this cocoon. But the cocoon is still that tacky, insect-like, gluish state. It hasn't turned into a crystal or anything, but you do recognize that it's in the same shape as the crystals that you had witnessed. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It did this with. Has it been conscious?
Yes.
At any point? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it kind of woke up and has been kind of walking around. They fed it some bioprinted meat, and it has eaten some of that, but it doesn't seem to really like it. And they can tell that because the Dr. Patricia states that this thing at the rate of growth should be voraciously hungry. But
it grew up in an environment where it wouldn't have food. So
right.
So it must feed on something completely different.
Well, she's thinking that. So according to your note, she goes over. She says that and really, the sensor scans from the ship, nothing was detected on this asteroid aside from the fact that it had a heated core, or not asteroid, comet, that it had a heated core. Nothing else was detected on the surface of this until the Destinex set down and you guys started out to complete your mission. It's almost like as you got closer, these things kind of somehow detected you and may have woken up. She's not sure. She says she's they're still studying it, but she's not at this point ruling out that there might be some psionics or life sense involved with this thing. Like maybe it in its dormant state inside these crystals, it could just detect when there was life nearby, which is what woke it up. And she brings that up. She says there are other life forms that have this. The Chamax, for example, exhibit these kinds of psionic abilities, to the point where the Chamax can actually use psionics to mimic radio signals, and so or cause radio static across multiple frequencies. And so she's certainly not discounting that. It hasn't really exhibited any other. She doesn't think. I mean, she says psionics are. She says I'm not an expert, but she says, to my knowledge, this this glass barrier shouldn't be stopping psionics. So I mean, if this thing used psionics for hunting or something like that, I would think that we would all be affected in some way. And I'm not seeing any evidence of that. And she says, add to that psionics, especially in animal creatures, are quite rare. And so, the Chamax is an example, but by far it's not common.
Right.
So she says, that's a possibility. They are still, she thinks, just watching this behavior of it building this this cocoon type structure, she thinks it's building a nest of some type. So perhaps they're going to get to witness it lay eggs. Perhaps it's an egg layer, or she thinks it must have something to do with its life cycle. But you watching this thing, so it is completed building this cocoon, and the top part of it is open, and then it kind of, so there are numerous pieces of this bioprinted meat on the floor, on this icy floor of this biosphere, and it seems that it is looking at you guys through the glass and pacing the interior of the biosphere. And it's it's just ignoring the bioprinted meat. Like it's eyed on the scientists in the lab. That's what you witness.
Yeah. I'm going to attempt to psychically contact it.
Okay. Yes, you can do that. So
this will be great. What could go wrong, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. If y'all mind meld or something,
So what are you trying to do exactly? Are you reading surface thoughts? Are you?
Yeah, I shouldn't. I should start with like emotions, but I'm going to do surface thoughts because I'm an idiot.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I failed. I got a 6.
Okay.
Oh.
And I don't know if that failure would even tell me if it had a shield up or not.
Yeah, you didn't fail that badly. You don't detect that there is any telepathic shield. So
Okay.
your guess is that it doesn't mean it's not psionic. It just means that it's not telepathic.
Right. This is going to be a weird one. Make a recon plus your psionics modifier, whatever it is currently. Okay.
So let's see. Read surface thoughts was.
It's currently a +1, so it's the same as my int.
Okay.
Would be.
So yeah, go ahead and make a recon plus psionics.
8.
Okay. So you reach out with a read surface thoughts. You fail.
Right.
But I mean, you were close enough that you were able to basically brush the mind of this thing. And this is hard to explain. It is, to you, completely alien. And I don't mean like, oh, it's an alien. I mean, um, it's completely different from even an animal intelligence.
We gotta do some sanity stuff here.
No, I don't think you need to. I don't think we're worried about sanity, but
All
it
right,
would be
no problem.
more akin to like, it would be a very ancient type of intellect, very primordial, um, akin to like if you were to say read the mind of a spider or an insect. It's not going to be anything like what you would expect from an normal animal or a human. It's even going to be more alien than like that of a lizard, whereas a lizard basically thinks in kill, don't kill, or not really kill, don't kill. It thinks, and a lizard would think in a manner of like kill, flee for protection, and kill later. Whereas a insect is just their wants, desires, and basic needs are completely foreign to any kind of human intellect that you've ever contacted, or even mammalian or animal intellect you've ever contacted. It seems very ancient and old.
All right. Yeah, it'll be a matter of everybody keep watch. We don't know what's going to happen when this thing comes out of its just yeah. Basically, I'll let them know to alert me and Bocephus once this thing starts breaking out of that cocoon.
So,
and I'll go to bed because it's been 8 hours of just watching those aliens. So.
Right. So you're gonna head up to your quarters.
Yeah.
As you are, you've been kind of watching this thing. Bocephus is still in the OR. On your way to your quarters. You're heading down this hallway. Your quarters, of course. Well, would you? Maybe not. Hold on here. Trying to figure out where your rooms are. I thought they were. Yeah, they're on the aft pod, so you would be heading back this way. My bad. So you would come out and you're heading this way. Aft, your quarters are on deck 2. I guess you would probably just go up to deck 2. So you're taking the lift up to deck 2.
Sure.
And both ship-wide, an alert goes out. Red alert. Security alert.
I'll start turning around, heading right back.
Okay.
Figure that's where it's coming from.
Bocephus.
Yep.
What is Stimpy's endurance?
Well, it's not the best. If he is a brain. Eight.
Okay. So Stimpy is aboard ship. He's probably dressed like this. Just double checking real quick. Yeah, it's just a ship's jacket and comfortable kind of uniform. So that's basically what Stimpy's wearing. He's got 8. Stimpy takes 12 points of damage. So your choice that the 4 over can be transferred to your choice, either strength or dex, but you have to stick with it.
We'll do dex.
Okay?
What? From what?
I'll tell you in just a moment. Is Stimpy unconscious? What was his dex?
Dex is 8. For now, it's 4.
Stimpy can roll 2d plus his strength modifier.
Eight.
Ooh. Okay. So Stimpy may have actually just saved Stimpy. Sarda, you come out of the biosphere area, past these scientific operations suites, which are filled with scientists at the moment. In the central hallway of deck 1 of the science pod, you see one of these creatures. You immediately see that it is a grappling Stimpy. Stimpy has been stabbed a couple of times by these claw-like ends. And you can make a recon plus intellect check.
Recon plus intellect. 8.
The cart that the grav cart that Stimpy was pushing, is skidded to one side, tipped over. The clear, hermetically sealed case that was holding the leg is completely shattered and exploded against the wall. And
amazing.
This, I figured you guys probably like this.
Between the two, I figured it was going to be the alien, not the leg.
This is the fully grown and operational version of this Spikespore. So what you are able to immediately kind of deduce that those blisters, these things will infect their prey with spores that grow into a new Spikespore that will grow into a pupal stage inside the creature that they've implanted them in, and then erupt forth. And this thing is attempting to feed, of course, on Stimpy.
All right, yeah, we have to do something about that. The other question is how many more of these things may have erupted from that foot?
It was only the one.
Okay, well, let's hope so. All right, well, you want to do initiative, or how you want to do this?
Let's see.
Let's hope we can keep Stimpy alive, because I am not.
Yeah, we like Stimpy. Actually, this one only has 42 hits because it just burst forth. Yeah. Now, of course, Bocephus is in surgery. It's not like he's going to be. It's not like he's going to be able to. Hold on, I gotta go shoot a gun.
No, but there were some security guys in the area.
Yes, there are. But we will add. And I will throw a couple of security guys up here.
You want me to roll initiative too, just for?
Yeah, just
Whatever.
throw you in the stacking. I have some medical related things for you to do. And I will give control of militia to Sarda.
Okay.
Or,
Do we initiative roll for them?
yes, they get 2d plus 1 for their initiative. We had them.
So a 9.
Okay. And the Spikespore has fast metabolism. So he gets a 9. Oh, that's a lot of 9s. So, I would assume Sarda, I mean, considering that you have had a deadly creature aboard, you probably have your stunner. I would think that you probably, I mean, naturally would have just you would probably have a sidearm, probably your Gauss pistol.
Yeah, I think I probably have both pistols on just because I've been watching the Alien
Right.
for the last 8 hours, so I'm probably
right. And I mean, like I said, the scientists in the room, they've all equipped their weapons with heap rounds.
Yeah, I'm gonna draw the Gauss pistol and fire.
Okay, so did you want to go with heap rounds as well?
No, I'm just using regular, I think.
Okay. You can go for it.
And I will auto fire this if that missed.
Okay.
And that is 14 damage with armor piercing 3.
Okay. Okay. So he's going to take 13. Okay. That's your second shot. Third.
That's it. That's it. I'm using the Gauss pistol. It's only got armor. It's only auto too.
Okay. So yeah, you open fire full auto. Dr. Bocephus. So you're in the OR. Kind of. You by this point you've finished augmentation of both legs. They are both the other leg is now attached, but both legs are opened up because you've been doing this muscle treatment, and you are in the process of cleaning up and closing, really, and you could hear from outside the bulkheads. You can hear the loud sounds, thumping, and there's all, and the ship's alarms are going off. What are you doing?
I'm doing surgery.
Go ahead and make another medic plus intellect or education check.
I add +2 because I'm in the med bay.
Yep.
And get a 16.
Damn! You're not even going to see those stitches. The Spikespore the Spikespore just got shot. Have Stimpy make another strength plus, or 2d plus his strength modifier.
8.
So Stimpy gets loose from this grapple from this thing, and is on his back on the floor and is kind of trying to scoot away from the floor, and he's leaving, a blood trail. And the Spikespore is going to take off running. Now, this thing in a minor action can move 10 meters, so he essentially
Jesus
almost
Christ.
moves. Yeah, essentially almost moves an entire square, and he starts to go up the wall. What do you want security to do?
We need to contain it and shoot it.
Okay, so
yeah, security is going to step out and take a shot, I think.
so they have. They're using Intel Security 12 shotguns, and these are the 6-round magazine.
Okay.
Plus 1 in the breech, and so they are equipped with heap rounds.
Looks. Yeah, I was gonna say that looks like solid slug.
Yeah.
So it's normally 4 dice. I don't know what the heap round would do, but I'm just gonna let me just roll my attack.
Heap round adds another die, and then for your
He definitely hit.
how many damage dice did you have originally?
Normally it's 4 dice 6.
So then you'll have 4 armor piercing onto that.
Oh, so, it just adds armor piercing. It doesn't add extra damage.
No, it does an additional 1d of damage, and it says heap.
And then you get the armor piercing based on your original number of damage dice.
Oh, okay.
So you'll get AP4, and then you add another die.
High explosive armor piercing rounds use shaped charge warheads and similar technologies to penetrate thick armor before detonating inside the target. Heap ammunition provides a weapon with an AP trait equal to double the number of damage dice it rolls before the bonus dice is added to heap ammunition. Destructive weapons multiply this by 10.
So the extra heap damage is an extra 4 dice 6?
Yep.
Okay. What is the security's bonus from Dex and firearms?
It would be double. So
no. What's his bonus to hit?
+2.
Okay,
so it says AP trait total to double the number of damage dice. So it would do AP 8.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm just trying to figure out damage because I rolled an 11, but I didn't know what his bonus to hit was. So it is 40 damage.
Holy
with
fuck.
8 of that being armor piercing.
Yeah. Yeah. So this guy blasts this thing, and in one shot with that shotgun heap round, it explodes all over the corridor. Like just annihilates it. Because at that stage it only had armor 4, so yeah.
At this point, I would like to do a life scan.
Okay. And you're specifically looking for this alien intelligence that you brushed? Yes.
DC is 4, but just try to anything within 5K, know how many and where they are, get an idea of where they are.
Right.
I'm hoping that number is 1 at the moment, but
yes, you are only detecting the one that is in the biosphere.
All right, I will contact Bocephus and let him know that leg was had eggs in it, evidently, and they hatched.
It's it's silicone-based life form. So when you clean, use methylated spirits.
All right.
That breaks down the silicone. It will fuck it up.
Okay.
Does that really work?
Yeah.
Huh, I did not know that.
I use methylated spirits to remove silicone caulk all the time. It is beautiful. It works like a fucking charm.
Silicone cock. So I take it methylated spirits is gentle on the rectum? I'm fucking with you, man.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. Stay away from open flame.
Yeah.
I did tell you that all peacocks are male.
Yeah, it's peahen for female.
No, it's peacunt.
I saw a Christmas shirt the other day that I gotta get. It's got Santa Claus wearing sunglasses and it says Santa knows you were a cunt.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well,
And he said
okay.
you taste like chicken.
So getting Bocephus's directions, I'll let security and I guess maintenance know that that's what we need to do to wipe this stuff down. In the meantime, watch out for this thing laying eggs. We'll have and Stimpy needs medical attention.
Yes, Stimpy is well, yeah. Medical teams are on the scene as soon as
I'll hit
it's
him.
safe. So yeah, they get Stimpy into they take him because he is, of course, Dr. Bocephus's personal assistant. They
That's
take
right.
him to Bocephus's med lab. And of course, the entire way, Stimpy's like, no, don't take me there. Like, no, just take me to the ER. But yeah, Stimpy gets into medical. In fact,
his wounds need to be treated with an anti-silicone base. Something. Hell, I don't know what you would use that wouldn't.
so Stimpy can get back 3 points to. It has to go to his. He took it off of his dex, so it has to go to dex first.
All right, so now he's just -1.
So that means that he will still need surgery, and they start to prep him. But so while you are finishing, or while you are closing up this guy, of course you have you probably have access to your watch. That's one of the nice things about your Mobicom being in a watch is that you don't have to hold it with your hand. You're telling them to use the methylated spirits to clean this wound out. Is that
Well, I don't know how methylated spirits would work on that, but we do need to use something to remove all the silicone
okay?
and do it down. I mean, even if it's, I mean, you could use vinegar. Also breaks down, but it's a lot softer. I'm sure there's a more chemical,
Vinegar's probably. I mean, it's acidic, but it's probably nicer on the.
The big thing's not to inhale it.
Yeah, I would think that vinegar would probably be better on the tissue.
Even methylated spirits are not that dangerous. You don't want to put it in your eye. You don't want to inhale it.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, whatever the medical way is to treat silicone poisoning and things like that, I would
Now
I'd definitely go that route.
Now you have me wondering.
Prolonged skin contact might cause redness, itching, eczema, and skin cracking. That's about the danger of it. So that's the same with any alcohol. Would be the same thing.
So it says. Well, of course, it goes directly to what happens if my silicone breast implant bursts.
Oh hell yeah!
That would be it. Well, that's a little creepy because it immediately says it starts talking about brood size. I'm like, that's a little too close for comfort. Silicone poisoning treatment.
Ooh.
Now I'm. The first priority is to remove it. No shit. It says to remove the tissue that it has been leaked into.
Well, then that we need to do that.
Okay, so he's going under the laser scalpel.
Yeah,
and he will be under the scalpel for 5 hours at least. And we'll make another surgical situation in that length of time. So, you guys, so like I said, you have determined basically this is this thing's life cycle. It as soon as it bursts forth, it voraciously feeds first and then grabs any living creature and starts to breed by implanting its spores into them. The last part of this life cycle, of course, that isn't really listed is that depending on, if the food um, if the food source kind of dies down or the environment becomes too harsh, it will build one of these glue cocoons, crawl inside, and in the process it will molt and actually make itself smaller. It will then crawl inside this glue cocoon, seal it up, and over time this glue cocoon will turn into one of these crystals, and it can float in 0 G for eons in this static state until it comes across a new food source. Over the next week, probably about a week. It's going to take that long for them to process all of this cracked ice into fuel. Over the next week, these scientists basically tell both of you that they really don't recommend proceeding with the procedure of introducing the fungus to this creature, because it could create a super organism. From what they have determined, with the shamblers and whatnot, I mean, this thing would be terrifyingly augmented if it were infected with the spores.
I think our best bet here is just to 86 this whole experiment and return that thing to its natural environment and leave.
The pits
Well,
of hell.
as long as you and the scientists feel that you've gained every bit of information you want from it, I'm fine with signing off on that.
I mean, oh God! I mean, if you prick your finger and it goes unnoticed, I mean, the next thing you know, you go straight fucking Sigourney Weaver, you know.
Yeah, if that guy hadn't hit that hard with the shotgun, I was gonna have this thing go up into the fucking air ducts, and you were gonna have all sorts of problems, and it's gonna be, oh my God, Commander Dallas, that kind of shit.
I just, at this point in time, with all the work that it takes for anybody getting injured with one, and then I mean, if we don't understand the way that it thinks very well, or even if it's on that predator, that God, we really ought to just remove it from the ship. We ought to,
just space it,
but put it back on the fucking asteroid.
So
it's blast it with fucking stunners until it passes the fuck out.
Yeah,
and fucking just kick it, put it on the comet. It'll figure out, go free, my son. We can name it. It'll be fine.
I shall call you Stimpy too.
Yeah, but that and putting Stimpy back together again, and we've done some exciting shit. But Stimpy got really fucked up, so
yeah, the surgery is a success, but he's going to be in the hospital under care for about the next 8 days. Yeah, he got fucked up. And actually,
I need to go ahead and
the surgery kind of fucked him up too.
Yeah.
Honestly, the surgery probably ended up doing more damage than the wounds, because they had to remove all that tissue, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking maybe we could.
He's had a double mastectomy, and
yeah, let's give him muscular bridging too. Let's just make that the flavor of the day.
Okay.
He'll come back a little stronger, a little faster.
Go ahead and roll your medic plus intellect or education check.
I'm adding 2 because I'm in a med bay, and I needed it 11.
Okay, so it's only going to take about 2 hours. He's not nearly as... the infection didn't get a chance to take hold or really, they didn't even look for the infection. They looked for the infection, but they didn't really find any. But they removed the tissue anyways, just in case. And so it takes about 2 hours, and you are able to do a muscular bridging on him while he is under, and you can give him muscular bridging.
So that raises his strength to a 5.
Give him a cool tattoo.
Yeah. And his dex to a 9 now, which is a +1. And he has +3 meters movement.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, while Bocephus sitting there, doing the operation, goes, this, if he would have gotten to his destination faster, he wouldn't have gotten hurt. and
we're just going to make sure of it next time.
We're going to, he needs to be better at moving stuff about. And so therefore we need to,
as you add to Stimpy's medical debt, that he'll have to pay back when he gets off the ship. All right. Well, we will close here.
Sounds good.
The ship will be going into jump. You will have a week of study time that you can add to your current study period. And that will be... Bring up the next.
I'm at 6 weeks now. Yeah, well, it's too bad. We're not breeding our race of planet conquering monsters. It sounds like.
Yeah. Well, those things are just, man, they're really over the top.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
So in the week of transit, the captain and the first officer kind of have a meeting with you guys in between your study breaks, and they tell you that they're basically DSR-2 is another comet, but they feel that you've kind of you've set the procedure. This time they know that they're sending Marines in addition to the standard work crews. They don't they want to avoid any unpleasantries like they had with DSR-1. But really there's no need for you guys to go on this mission. They want you to oversee it from the bridge, and it should just be, standard, hopefully standard procedure at this point. We all know what we're supposed to do. You guys invented this, and it worked. And so that's essentially what they're moving forward with. So we will pick that up next week at 6
Sounds
o'clock
good.
on Friday night.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night, guys.
Good talking to you both.
Yep.
Bye.
See you soon.
Take care.